Hello, everybody. We are so excited that you here with us today. We have an amazing guest, and her name is Jen Nelson. She's an award-winning realtor, and she's in the greater Phoenix, Arizona market. She had explosive growth as an individual agent, and Jen founded the Nelson Group and recruited several agents to kind of fill out her team. You're in for a real treat. I got to talk to her for just a couple minutes before we got started, and I fell in love with her in just about 2.3 seconds. So it's not any kind of wonder of why she is so successful. So we have a real treat for you. So please, in the chat, give a warm welcome to Jen Nelson. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. That was a really kind intro. You are fantastic. I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you.
Well, I have some things that I want to ask you. And first thing is, I want to talk about where you're getting your leads from and what are some of your best lead generation tactics.
You bet. So we actually have about 98% referral business, but we started with social media. So I am not a native tech person, but I found that if you make your calls, which is great, nothing wrong, but you can make 250, 500 calls with social media. And I am a big nerd. I love studying numbers. So our largest buying class, I'm sure this is not news, is millennials. And they're on social media, predominantly Instagram, TikTok, those kind of things. So yes, you can make 250 to 500 calls on social. So I love social media. And being the nerd that I am, we started studying the metrics around it. So a couple of hopefully useful tips for all of us today. If you're not familiar with Hashtastic, so hashtastic.com is a great resource. You can hop onto their website and actually study when your users are on your social media. So for me, I'm a mom, I have a bunch of kids. And I realize that a lot of my clients are on social media Tuesdays and Thursdays around 8 p.m. So I loved getting that metric. I loved being able to understand and really formulate a strategy around that. So if you haven't used Hashtastic, please, I have no interest in the company. I'm just a benefactor. It's been great to really strategize and use metrics to make an impact with all of our social media.
Will
So
you share your screen, Jen? And if you're listening to this, we suggest that you also watch it live as well, and we'll put that in the notes. But if you don't mind sharing your screen and kind of showing exactly and explaining for those who are just listening on audio what Hashtastic does.
you bet. So I'm going to show you what we do. And let's start in Instagram because a lot of us have Instagram. Let me see if I can. It is taking just a moment. I apologize. Hashtastic is going to tell you when your people are on. Oof, there you go. You guys are seeing my nerd self. Your clients are going to reach out to you over this kind of stuff. Authentic, silly. We shot a bunch of listing videos in one day, and this was my photographer and I goofing around. This actually, I got like 10 phone calls from this silly video, which is a little bit embarrassing. But people want to see the real you. They want to see that you have fun. Now, metrics wise, as we look at Instagram, you're going to see a combination of, curated content, right? Not a ton of likes, but if you're familiar with the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you can actually look at your metrics on the back end. Hopefully everybody has a business account. In our state, that's mandatory. So we have multiple business accounts. This one's mine. And we do a combination of really kind of raw, authentic, hey, this is me, here's how the market is today, and then more curated content that has a very polished look. So clients get to know you. We all know that people work with people they know, like, and trust, but if they don't know you, they can't like and trust you. So we do this is really gross. This was me at the gym the other morning. But again, I got like 5 people who texted me after this ridiculous video. And it was just talking about the market. So in terms of Hashtastic and some things you can use to bolster and strategically plan, check out when your clients or client avatar is online. When are they on social media? What are they looking for? What are they engaging with? And then use a mix of, curated content that is a really polished look as well as authentic. And then Facebook is a client
So
avatar.
let me ask you one question about Hashtastic.
Yeah.
Does it also give you the hashtags that you should use as well?
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, it does. It will tell you which hashtags are going to best be searched. If it's similar to TubeBuddy, if anybody does YouTube, it will tell you who's trending hashtags, who, like hashtag moving to Arizona, high ranking. If you're using a hashtag that nobody searches for, you're not going to be found. And we really do want everybody to know, like, and trust you, but they have to know you first. So we want them to know you. Use a hashtag people can find. Thank you. And then post it at a time that is when your people are online, so they're not missing it in the feed. Great
So
question.
with the TubeBuddy, are you doing YouTube channels and are you using TubeBuddy? Can you explain how you're using that?
For sure. So TubeBuddy is another fantastic option. We do YouTube. Super honestly, I haven't in the last couple of weeks. I took some time off with my family, but yeah, TubeBuddy is fantastic. It is similar to Hashtastic on YouTube. It will actually grade you on your YouTube channel and tell you if you're effective, if you've done, I think it has a metric of 10 to 12 items you need to do to get engagement. And then similarly, it'll tell you when to post. So it really kind of takes the guesswork out of it and makes everything quite effective.
Mm. So with TubeBuddy, is that how expensive is that? And do you feel like it's really worth it?
I do. Now I'm Scottish and I'm a little frugal. And I love saving money. I think it's worth it. I think it's $7.99 a month. Hashtastic for us is free. Content calendars. I think most people are familiar with Canva, but if you're not, you can plan your social media posts, which is genius. So you don't have to be on, social media at 8 o'clock every Tuesday night. So plan your posts, use curated hashtags. We actually save them in our phone. And then we have a team Canva account and they're saved there as well. So we can just
who are you using to plan out the different posts for you? What program is that?
So that's Canva.
Okay, so Canva is doing it. Yeah, I think we use Agora Pulse.
Oh,
So I didn't know that Canva will actually post the things on social media for you.
yeah. They have a content calendar. I think it's $70 a year. And then hashtags
Wow.
is free.
Yeah, because we're using Agora Pulse and that's like $100 a month. So that might be a good time or a good cost savings for us if we're going to do that. So that's great. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about kind of the systems that you have in place that really kind of make your team run effectively. So talk about it. I love that you were an individual agent and then you've transferred as a team, but kind of some things that you did when you were an individual agent and some processes that you had put in place that have made you successful for both as a team and individual.
Sure. So I kind of fell into the team thing backwards. I didn't want to grow a team. I was really stubborn, a little bit independent, as my husband would tell you. And I think that the secret sauce, at least what my teammates tell me, is that we try hard to love our clients well. We want them to feel known. We want them to feel seen. We want them to feel empowered to make decisions. As I mentioned, I'm kind of a nerd, so we have a lot of data that we'll lead with. But more so, we'll ask up front, hey, do you like data and analytics? Or do you like reports with more graphs and pictures? What's your learning style? Because we're going to speak to that and we're going to work with you. So my engineering and surgeon types, right away, I would be like, hey, here's the data on this area. Here's what we're seeing. Here's the historical appreciation. And then we used something that is called a client intake. I actually got this from my kids' school a long time ago. They every year will send you here's what the teachers like. Here's what their favorites are. And if you want to take care of them, here are some options for you. So they do it with their teachers. And I thought, gosh, why don't we do that?
I've done that every year I get that with my son's school too. Every year send us everything they like, from the flowers they like to the coffee they like to their favorite thing at Starbucks. So can you have that you can share with us so people can see it, exactly what that intake form is?
So, and this
While
is,
you're Go ahead.
sorry, this is our very simple one. We actually have it on job forms. So when we started working, when I was an individual agent, I started doing this. And it was really fun because it was, buyer, seller consult. A couple days later, I'd say, hey, I have some really fun questions for you. This is like the fun stuff. Now that we're working together, I'd really like to make sure that we, don't do anything that would hurt you. And of course, are able to take care of you well. So it's simple stuff. I'm not sending champagne to a recovering alcoholic, right? We don't want to celebrate people in a way that is either offensive or is not going to be a good fit for them. So that's kind of where this came from. And then this all goes into our database. So even as a single agent, I was doing this, and I keep a cooler in my car, stocked with their favorite drinks. And we would say, hey, I'm going by Starbucks. What can I pick you up? Well, I probably already know if I've done this. So I don't even ask. I show up with their drink, and we want to have that concierge level of service, and then have the ability to really, on their birthday, send them a note, to really care about them and create community. That's always been a big part of my heart. So my team says this is part of our secret sauce. I hope it helps some agents. We now have a client care coordinator. She's wonderful. Her name is Katie. And she does this. And it's so fun for us as agents because we'll say, hey, you're going to talk to Katie soon. She's so fun. And she's going to be the one showing up and surprising you throughout the process. And hey, by the way, if you're stressed and need coffee, we'll get that to your door. And they kind of laugh and we're like, no, really. We'll send you coffee. You need something, Katie's your gal. Contracts and negotiations, that's me. But we really do try and be very intentional in how we take care of people.
Now, do you use any programs like a clientgiant.com or anything like that? Or are you doing it all in-house? Because it can get overwhelming if you're selling a lot of homes and you're keeping up with this. I'd love for you to, if you have this available online, if you could type it in the chat. But do you use any kind of systematized ways for automating client care and your client's happiness?
So we take that intake. And when it was just me, I love systems, but I got an assistant. I do recommend you get an assistant as soon as you're overwhelmed. I was a little stubborn. I did that a little too late, but she's been with me years. So this goes into the database. She then plugs in all of the, let me send one to you, but I'm going to send a couple into the chat. So in terms of systems, I like Client Giant a lot, but it's a little bit formulaic and I want it to be more specific. If we have a Jewish family where, some of the Client Giant stuff is not going to work. If we have somebody who doesn't drink, there were just those very, for me, it wasn't a good fit. They're great at what they do. And I think it's a good start. So what we do is I use Ametry. It's a timeline system. The client goes into the database, it syncs with Ametry, and then that gets shared with my assistant. So she just knows, okay, the client is under contract. They're getting a gift. And maybe it's a mini champagne with some champagne glasses. And it's just automatic. When it was just me, my wonderful husband and kids helped me with this. But very quickly became something that it was, as an Amazon cart. So if you're a single agent, it's really simple, I think, to just have some of those things, in your Amazon cart. Client Giant, again, does a great job. Thank you for putting that in the chat. So now it's an assistant that we have. And it's been a really fun part. A part of that too is when we go to client events, which we do a couple of times a year, we're able to be very intentional and kind of understand who our clients are and what's going to be most fun for them. So birthdays, they get a birthday box. Anniversaries, we just had a client with the 50th anniversary last week. Sent them a big bouquet of flowers and champagne. So just continual client care. Yes.
And now a word from our sponsor, Canzel Realty. Run your business your way, only at Canzel Realty. You can have all the freedom with none of the standard real estate red tape. If you're an agent, you get to run the show however you want and be your own boss. If you want to launch a team, you don't have to jump through all the hurdles and holdups. From day one, you'll have tons of tools and perks to offer your team. Powerful real estate tech like KV Core, Brokerman, and Skyslope. If you want to be your own brokerage or already have your own brokerage, that's not a problem either. You'll still get to run it however you want, All Canzel requires is a small Powered by Canzel logo next to yours. You can be the broker, you can be the manager, and you get to determine splits. You get all the tech, admin support, ownership stock, and revenue share, but most importantly, all the freedom, all the time, only at Canzel Realty.
So let me ask you this. I don't know if you've heard of this one thing that someone had recommended on a call here. It's called followupthen.com. And I just want to put that back out there to all of you guys, because I'm telling you, this has really helped my email to go in, because, you get an email and you don't want to act on it now, meaning like you'll respond, but you need to follow up. So all you do is you forward that email to 2days@followupthen.com or 3days@followupthen.com. And then it'll send me an email to remind me to follow up with that person or follow up with that client. And it's been awesome. But I want you to kind of talk a little bit more in detail of what Ametree, and if you're listening, it's AMITREE.com. And they talk about Meet Folio, your magical email assistant. And it helps you to stay organized, stay on track. But explain exactly what does it do and how do you use it?
You bet. So I started as a single agent. We had an in-house CRM, which was good, but a little bit clunky. Didn't do what I needed. So Ametree is exactly like you said. It organizes your email by either person or it's a Google extension for me. So by property. And I can find all that in there. But the genius of it, in my opinion, it's very affordable. One, you actually get a free account, I think up to 3 properties a month. And it sends me Google reminders. So it syncs to my Google Calendar. It syncs to my client's Google Calendar. But I can hide certain things from the client. So if it's under contract, that notification to send a gift is coming to me and to my assistant. And it literally just automatically sends it to my email. It's great. So if you're not at a place where you want to invest in a big CRM, and make the jump to a follow-up boss or something like that, it's really, really affordable, often free. And it reminds me, like you said, followupthen.com. Perfect. It sends me emails the day of or the day before. Hey, this is coming up tomorrow. Don't forget. Or even with contract timelines. That's what we use it for with client-facing side. In addition, you can link, I think it's all, I would show you, but I think they're all actually client-specific. You can link your providers in there. So for a client, they see their timeline. If they click on it, they see escrow, they see title, they see lender, they see moving resources. They see all of that in there. So for the client side, it's really beautiful. And for our side, it keeps everybody reminded. You can add your lender. Your lender will know when things are due. And again, it's free at the first 3 files. So that's, in my opinion, a really good option before you're ready to jump to a big CRM.
I love that. And I work out of my inbox. So anything I need to do, I use my inbox as almost a to-do list at times. So I love things that do that because it kind of makes that magical. Any other systems or tools that you use that are really kind of helping with time management? Because I think that more than ever right now, people are just really struggling with kind of, these are my top priorities that I need to do, and not getting bogged down in all these other things that aren't actually producing business.
Amen. It's the shiny object syndrome, right? We, as agents, we're like, oh, that looks interesting. That looks interesting. I can give you 10, but really it's going to be what works for you. I think, and my commitment this year is to really master the morning. If you've not read Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents, it's a really easy read. It's a story. It's not a how-to guide so much as it is a fiction. I've got 5 kids. I run a real estate team. I need to show up well. And really show up with joy to serve my clients well. So for me, that was huge. Master the morning, yes. So if you have a strong morning routine, that's going to make a world of difference. And for me, I actually have it next to me. I always have a yellow pad. The night before, I'm time blocking, and my calendar is time blocked, and my entire team sees it. So if you can have a strong morning routine and time block, do your hours of power. Set aside, turn off distractions, no social, no phone, really set aside that time to work your pipeline. It's going to make a massive difference. And if you're Are you guys, is Miracle Morning a familiar term or familiar?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it
perfect.
is. But I'd love to hear, I think practically it really helps people to hear exactly what you're doing with your day and kind of think back a little bit as when you were an individual agent and just how important it is to be making phone calls to people. To right now, we had so many people where the phones were ringing to them, and now we're having to make more outbound calls to be able to do the kind of production that they need. So give us a real practical time blocking that an individual agent would do, and then give us exactly what you're doing as far as your time blocking for your team.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you. Great questions. So, well, first, yeah, it's mindset. And that's why the morning routine for me is so huge. Individual agent, team leader, broker owner, mindset. We want to show up in a heart of service. So I'm not in sales, I'm in service. I'm showing up to serve my clients and my community. But if I show up grumpy and I overslept, I didn't get my coffee or I didn't get my workout, that's not the best version of me. So here's how it looks. Individual agent and now 5:45 for me, I'm up. The acronym for a miracle morning is SAVERS. So it's silence, affirmations, um, V is visualize, E is exercise, R is reading, and S is scribing. And it's just an acronym that helps you kind of get your mind right in the morning. So for me, silence in the morning is hard. I've got a bunch of kids, so I have to beat them. I have to get up first. So I sit with my coffee. I'm a woman of faith. I sit with my Bible. And I am doing that for a good 15, 20 minutes before I'm ready to be real civil and engage with people. And then it's a workout, 6:15, we're running. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing something so that I'm taking care of my whole body. And then, especially when you're going to a gnarly, negotiation, I tell you what, I go boxing. There are some agents that I just know I'm going to have, I got to bring my A game. I always want to bring my A game. But, sometimes you go into just these gnarly negotiations and I want to show up in joy, but I want to show up in confidence and wisdom. And I do that so much better when I have a strong routine. So 6:15, I'm at the gym. 7:15, taking kids to school. 8-ish, 8 to 10 is my time. That's my following up on stuff. That is pipeline. That is not taking meetings. It's blocked out almost every day. For me, that works. I'm not a morning person. I try hard, but it's not me. So 8 to 10 for me is my pipeline. If you've heard the expression, eat the frog, do the hard thing in the morning. That's me. So I'm doing that. And and then from 10 on, it's client appointments, usually from 10 to 4. I've learned to schedule myself food in there. So do calendar block for lunch. My kids always get on me about that. And then, after 4, really it's family time. For me, being a mom, I want 4 to 6 to be my family time. And then once the kids are in bed, if I need to do something, I'm working again. And every night I'm writing down hour to hour the next day. I do have agents on my team who hate that. They like a loose schedule, but for me, I'm type A. I want to know what I'm doing at each hour. And my CRM sends me a text and an email every morning telling me what to do, which is great.
I love that. So as far as for you, as far as client appreciation, we're actually have done one recently that seems like it's going to be a huge hit. We did it with the Restore Cryotherapy. We're going to do it this weekend where we worked out a deal with them and they're doing it in all kinds of states. Restore Cryotherapy is in like 30 states now, and it's in most of the states that we're in. And basically, they just charged us $200 for 2 hours. And we are getting all of, we had agents chip in. So multiple agents did it. They each paid like $25 to kind of be part of it. And then they get free cryotherapy, they get free compression, all kinds of health things, right? Because I think people are really trying to improve their health. Give us some of the best client appreciation things that you've done. And what can you do to really get them to be not just people showing up, but people sending you referrals after you do them? Because I think that people can do these client appreciations, but then they miss the boat on while they're there, really trying to get them to give referrals from that event?
You bet. So, okay, best client events. Well, we always tie them to our values, and one of our values is generosity. So we want to, as a vision, we want to impact our community and bless our community. So we tie it to a lot of nonprofits. So typically a client event has that same heart. We're going to be donating to a nonprofit. We're going to, bless our clients and, bless our community at the same time. So we, last year we had a coffee with Santa. So free coffee. We rented out a coffee house. We had the best Santa come. It was free photos for families. And then with that, we actually donated, I can't remember last year. I apologize. I think we donated to the Phoenix Orphanage. So we want to wrap heart into it. And from that too, one of the ways that we engaged further with the client is our photographer had phone numbers and say, do you want me to text you or do you want me to email you? So we're getting information, and it was free to the public as well. So our clients were invited directly. Public was invited, but then we had contact information to say, we're not going to spam you. We're going to, our goal is always to treat other people the way we want to be treated. But we do want to give you this. It's a free gift. We'll send you all your photos. You pick which Santa photo you like. So that one worked really well. As far as engagement, even we did I think 600 Christmas cards, kind of our top clients this year. We got 4 referrals from that. And it was so fun. On the front, it was all about the client. So we always try to lead with service. It wasn't a thank you for your business. It was you're amazing. We are so grateful to work with you. And on the back, it was a picture of us with confetti cannons. Happy New Year. We hope you have a wonderful year. We don't ever want it to be about us. We want it to be about the client. So in everything we do, we're leading with our value and we're leading with the client and thanking them. So let's see. Santa was one, and we blast these on social media, by the way, to tie that back. So this goes out over social media. They get a QR code texted to their phone so they can show up and get their free coffee, and the kids get the free Santa photos. Remember another. We're doing.
What about an egg hunt? We're getting ready to come into Easter time. Have you done an Easter egg or maybe photos with the Easter bunny or anything during this time coming up?
I love that. No, there's a ton here. So we'd be competing with a ton. What we want to do and what we're planning for this year is Valentine's. Don't tell our clients if you're in my market. Phoenix, Scottsdale. But we want to do a Valentine party for clients. It's going to be adults only, so cocktail hour type of thing. And we're actually creating awards for our clients. We're coming up with kind of silly awards like, hey, best perseverance in a transaction, most modern house, things like that. And it's just going to be kind of a fun date night. We're going to do a photo wall. So there's, silly photo props and really just interact with our clients, just say, hey, how are you? How's the family? And then give them little awards. So that'll be fun.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing. Tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you, and also put it in the chat.
You bet. So Jen Nelson, Realtor on most platforms, or on YouTube and Instagram. We're also the Nelson Group, Phoenix, Scottsdale. One challenge, if I can, if you guys want to engage with me, we're doing a 30-day video challenge. And you guys saw how ridiculous my videos are. If you're on social media, join us. We're going to do 30 days of one video a day on social media so that your clients, your community, your sphere gets to know you, like you, and trust you. We've seen great engagement from that. So starts today. It is the 10th through February 10th. You can join us. We'd love that.
Awesome. Well, let's show her some love in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being with us. And Jen, thank you. This was amazing. You really brought the heat for us today, and we're very grateful for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.